Hey guys, welcome back to my watercolor channel, and today I paint some birches. The sun is coming out slowly, so we have a little bit more of sun, although not much snow anymore. This January has been particularly warm, so a lot of ice. But I am looking forward to the spring, and I hope it comes earlier than May. And yes, let's get started to paint some birches and a few small bullfinches. I have a little bit of a sunny day going on, so my main focus are really the birches, but I have also added some two bullfinches. They are not that much in the detail, so they're a little bit of a accessoire to the nature, but I really like those birds, and especially now towards the end of the winter I have seen many of those in my backyard, and also I can hear them very often when walking the dogs. But yes, back to my painting. So I continue here with the sky. I add some water to the paper in between, and the birches are relatively high and tall and a little bit thick. And I added the cobalt blue, but I wanted also the background to be relatively blurry when it comes to the background trees. And like I said, it's a sunny day, so I wanted to add the trees, which are very brown in color, brown, yellow, orange, and I have mixed a nice yellow ochre and red color together, so it looks somewhat orangey. I continue with the foreground, so I also wanted to add more of the cobalt blue because it's a nice blue color which stands in contrast with, for example, the trees at the back. I pulled some of the paint from the trees downwards, so it's mixing with the cobalt blue, and you can see that it creates also at the top a little bit of a greenish colors, but it fits nicely together. And yes, and then I add some hay there as such while the painting is still wet. I add some indigo blue to the mixture, as well as some of the previous base colors for the trees, so I get a nice gray. I think adding then as well some of the cobalt and orange. I like to play around with these colors as such because it really gives a nice balance there. And I continue to add some red color, so and it's crimson red, to the bullfinch. I don't know if you have noticed, but I have added the first one, added some red to the first bullfinch a little bit earlier, which is on the branch. I take off some of the color at the back from the trees because there was before, and wetted it a little bit now, then add some of the brownish colors as well, some further away standing trees. I emphasize the horizon line basically, so it's going a little bit downwards, and it gives a nice edge, especially as a lot of the middle ground is more blurry, so wet to wet technique. Now to the trees. First I add a nice layer of the orange. It's really light, so it contains a lot of water, and then I add some of the cobalt blue mixed with the indigo blue. They mixing nicely together. I wet till everything has basically dried. And then I continue with my layer onto the trunk of the trees, so just looking around the roundness and where can I add some of the patches. However, this gray color is very light in color, so it doesn't contain too many pigments. And it's really just adding now adding the details. Make sure that the structure or the patterns on the trees, on the tree trunks, are very round, because then it emphasizes the roundness of the trunk. I use several colors, so I have here gray, and then I add a little bit of the orange in there as well, to give a nice variety to the tree. I continue to do so on the second tree, the same way as I have done it on the first tree. A little bit of a brownish color and on the top. So it's kind of like making really nice layers in between. I make some paints gray now because I need it for the bullfinches. And make sure to get the shape right of the bullfinch. It's a very, very specific shape. The bigger one, which is on the ground. And it's worth noticing that they have some white pattern on the after wings as well. But I also need the paints gray for adding the darker patches here to the birches. So I'm a little bit careful, and I make sure that there's also a difference between the strings, so it's a little bit watery, and then adding more of the really a lot of pigment containing color to the trees. This is quite important because it gives a very nice contrast. Continue at the top. So don't overdo it, and just a few patches. It might look a little bit too dark when adding too many of the patches. And there's also the possibility to spread the darker patches a little bit, adding some water, and then spread it around, so it really gives a nice value to the trees, and it looks more three-dimensional, because then you can control the form. And it looks much more realistic. It's nice to have different shades of one color or different strength. And then I continue with the branches. So just being careful. Rigger branch I do recommend for painting the branches, especially, as you can, it's really if you're really interested in the landscapes, it's worth it to get this brush. Maybe adding more different strengths of branches. And maybe it would be good to look at some pictures and what branches look like, or even better, go outside and see where are they thickening and which directions they go. Obviously, you don't want to add too many branches in one painting, because then it can feel very overwhelming and overcrowding, especially as here I kept it quite simple. And the last step is just to add some of the shadows, some smaller details. But yes, that was basically it. Thank you for watching and remember to subscribe. Bye!